gonna love you like me.
Brendan Urie and Taylor Swift together, and me at BBC Essex. It's 10 to 2 now. Now there's a special piano recital happening in Colchester this Friday. Alex Khalifa performing his own compositions in the St James the Great Church. I'm delighted to say that he's on the line to me now. Alex, good afternoon. Welcome to BBC Essex.
Oh, good afternoon.
Lovely to have you on the show today. So tell me a little bit about this performance, because I mentioned there it's some of your own compositions as well.
Yes, this is the unusual aspect of my concert, is that half the concert is of my own music, which is quite daring, really, if you think. It's rather risky because people have this impression of contemporary classical music that it's very, very difficult and complicated to listen to, because it's often the avant-garde. But I'm not of that sort at all, right? Because I hope tuneful and accessible music. It is dynamic. It's in the tradition of the classics, and that's why I play the classics alongside my own music, and hopefully they go together well. I'm playing Chopin, I'm playing Grieg, I'm playing Rachmaninoff, one of my favorites, and at the end a fiery piece by a Spanish composer, Manuel de Falla. So, and in between all my own pieces. So in that sense it's unusual. It is a tradition though. In the 19th century, it was a tradition to play your own music, and that somehow disappeared because people started concentrating on one thing or the other. So that tradition of concert pianist composer.
Do you think this obsession with photographing everything actually does make people value photographers more?
I think that we're toddlers in this digital technology world, and I'm not saying don't use technology, I'm saying treat it with respect, because I think it can really damage us in lots of different ways, and we're so, it's been called the fourth industrial revolution, and we're at that point where we're really not completely conscious of what it's doing to us. I think we're becoming more conscious, and I think it's just having that kind of a little bit of fear of it, and not just jumping into it and thinking it's the best thing that's since sliced bread, because I think there are going to be things that come out of it that are harmful. On the other hand, there are things that are great, like I love audiobooks, and I walk around with my dogs reading audiobooks, and it's brilliant, but I just think it's that kind of be nervous of what you're doing with it. And in terms of photography, I think it's created a lot of rubbish, loads more rubbish pictures, there's no question. But I do think that eventually, the use of it will democratise photography to the point that people start seeing what's good and what's bad.
I think that's already happening. I do.
And I love the idea, if you're 10, 11, 12, you pick up this thing, it's got a camera on it, you start taking pictures, that access to this art form, this kind of genre of art that I love, photography, that excites me. And also there are other really great platforms that are really kind of much more ethical, that take it a bit more seriously. There's a thing called Vero, which is brilliant. So there's places out there that are doing really great work. Daisy's another one. And I think that we just have to kind of be a little bit careful about what we're doing. And I use screen time, so I get cut off with my phone.
And do you play by those rules?
I do 15 minutes, so I probably, because I can say,
my team laughing at how does he? I know.
can say it's my job. Like I said to my wife, used to say, why do you keep taking me selfies? I said, I'm experimenting with the medium, and which is ridiculous, but that's what I was doing. But I do cut myself off. I also have two phones, so there's one just doesn't have it on.
So does it cut? Do you say you cut off 15 minutes a day? Is that any time of day, or is it random? Or
no, it cuts. So if I'm on any social media platform for more than 15 minutes, any of them equally, it cuts me off.
Wow.
And then I can ignore that.
Change your video.
And it'll remind me again in 15 minutes, or it can.
That's what I use
the day. And it's something that Apple do. I don't know if any of the other.
That takes real discipline.
But it is really useful because it reminds you how long you've been on it, because it's so easy. And don't get me wrong, I've been there scrolling for hours and hours and hours. And the thing is, the minute I stop doing it, I've had more ideas, I'm bored again. It's really good to be bored.
That's very good point. That's a really good point. But I mean, you are running a company, so the thought that you can just do 15 minutes and then break and then come back is extraordinary. If anyone wants to find out more about the project, how can they do that?
Well, it's really easy. It's just a simple email selfiecontrol@rankin.co.uk with an idea, or we can send you the briefing document.
Please do that. Selfie Control at Rankin. So if you go to Rankin's website, it is all up there. You can see the images that we've been talking about. But I said to you, the funniest thing I heard was someone saying that they've got an app to tell them why they're not sleeping, and I just thought, this is crazy now, isn't it? It's like technology's eating us.
I came up with one the other day, which is when you're on the phone, if you had an app that pretended that you didn't have reception, so if you didn't want to speak to someone, put that app on and say,
Sorry,
I can't hear you.
I'll have that. If anyone brings that out. Rankin, it's always good to see you. Thank you. How are the dogs?
They're great. They're lovely. I walked in this morning.
Don't forget, you can hear him on our podcast, Dogs in the City.
The way I am. When I look at you, I wanna be somewhere close to heaven in the end of all man. Don't go, I know you wanna touch me here, there and everywhere. Smile, when we are together.
Oh great, we finally see where we spawned.
You don't have to act like a star. Trying moves in the back of your heart. You know that we are. 'Cause tonight you're gonna be mine.
I just need to.
Don't do games that you play, 'cause you know that I'm on the
All I know is that Phantom Zion Light. When we get a box like this, get some white chickies.
You could be my baby. Calling me, say I'm gonna be a bad girl again. Wild time, you coming over, we can't leave this on undone. Got a devil on my shoulder, there's a place for you to run. You trust the soul inside, trying moves in the back of your heart. You know that we love, this is you can be mine. Don't do the games that you play, 'cause you know that I'm on the way.
My thanks to Stephen is dancing to Holly Valance. Stephen producing today, Capri taking the calls. My thanks to Rankin. He said my theme, Bring Me Sunshine, was played at his wedding. I love the thought. We all know that every time we play it, we're going to think of him. Right, time for the news, but before that, let's catch up with the travel and Billy.
BBC Radio London cabin demo today. Parliament Square fully shut until around 4 o'clock. Bridge Street closed westbound but Victoria Embankment. As a result, you can expect delays. Also, roadworks on Pall Mall, which is causing queues around Trafalgar Square today. A406 North Circular Road, an accident northbound affecting the start of the slip to the M11 northbound. So queues from Red Bridge, queues back to the Golf Club, eastbound delays on Eastern Avenue with queues back to Grove Green Road. Back to see Lavender Hill closed eastbound, Elspeth Road to Queenstown Road collision. That's affecting 4 bus routes presently. And very slow on all of the approaches to what was the Old Street roundabout. It's now a two-way traffic system. Delays eastbound from City Road. Old Street coming in from Clerkenwell and on Commercial Street as well. M25 slow anti-clockwise at 11, and that's a broken down vehicle. Anti-clockwise at 30, that is emergency repairs to the carriageway. Billy Reeves, BBC Radio London, more from me in half an hour.
On digital radio, 94.9 FM, and on BBC Sounds. This is BBC
London's news at 2 o'clock in Wilson. Boris Johnson has been ordered to appear in court to face accusations he lied in the run-up to the 2016 EU referendum. He'll be charged with misconduct in public office as a result of the private prosecution. Our assistant political editor is Norman Smith.
Even before he's got out the blocks to formally launch his campaign, set out his ideas, the headlines are all going to be about the fact he's now facing a court case with, at the end of the day, a potential prison sentence. Mr. Johnson's representatives have called the case politically motivated. And some of Boris Johnson's rivals for the Tory leadership have been making their case today. James Cleverly, who is the 11th MP to declare their interest, says he can offer something new to voters. Another of the candidates, Rory Stewart, has been setting out how he would tackle the Brexit deadlock.
There are no magic bullets in Brexit, and if there were, it would have been done 2.5 years ago. You have to unlock this debate in Parliament. I think the way to do it is to follow Ireland, which did this amazing citizens' assembly around abortion, which was an issue like this. Very black and white, very polarised. They put citizens to take expert evidence and consider it, and actually they unlock that problem.
Survivors of the fire at Grenfell Tower have accused Kensington and Chelsea Council of acting more like a property developer than a caring local authority after it emerged it had far more money available to invest in renovating its housing than it's previously acknowledged. And investigations found it made almost £130 million from selling property in the years leading up to the blaze, yet spent only £10 million repairing Grenfell and saved nearly £300,000 by using cheaper cladding, which turned out not to be safe. A man's appeared at the Old Bailey charged with murdering his parents in West London. Sergei Kudryavtsev is accused of stabbing his father Vladimir and mother Tatiana last week at their flat in North Kensington. The 48-year-old, who describes himself as a New Zealander who was born in Russia, has been ordered to stand trial in November. Arsenal and Chelsea will meet tonight in an all-London Europa League final, nearly 2,500 miles away in Azerbaijan. Neither club has sold out its allocation of 6,000 tickets, and the BBC's Sarah Rainsford, who's in the capital Baku, says many fans have faced long and expensive journeys with very limited flight options.
Fans have really struggled to get here, not just because it's so far, we really are on the very edge of Europe, geographically speaking, but also because it's expensive. You know, fans I've been speaking to who have made it here have talked about direct flights costing them at least £1,000. So people have been taking all sorts of other routes. They've been taking trains, they've been taking buses, they've been flying via Ukraine, via Greece, all sorts of routes to try to get here.
Well, the Europa League final between Arsenal and Chelsea is live tonight on BBC Radio London, FM, digital and online from 7:30. Now, with London's weather, here's Georgina Burnett.
Hello there. We continue with a cloudy day today with outbreaks of fairly light and patchy rain coming in from the west and also the winds picking up. Temperatures getting up to about 18 degrees Celsius. Tonight it's going to be cloudy with rain clearing to the east, clear spells emerging through the early hours of the morning, and temperatures down to 11 or 12 degrees Celsius, so a lot milder.
BBC Radio London, it's 3 minutes past 2.
On digital radio
94.9 FM
and on BBC Sounds.
This is London.
This is BBC Radio London.
Joe Good.
Do you know, Stephen's producing today, and he just said something really interesting, because we photograph every contributor we have, we photograph. Now, Rankin, top photographer, when we stand up against the branding to be photographed, the BBC branding, it's a subject of mirth that I am so short, and many of our contributors are tall or even of average height. He just automatically bobbed down, didn't make a thing of it, so that he and I would be of a similar level. And Stephen went, isn't that, I mean, that's just a gentleman, and also someone who's considerate and knows what he's doing, and he is. And the photograph will go up soon. But what he's talking about...
BBC Radio Kent official. We are BBC Radio Kent.
Travelling every 20 minutes, I'm Bill John Drake, very slow.
...is on the red carpet for Will Smith. I was saying, gosh, no one is holding out an autograph book saying, can you sign this for me? No one has autograph books anymore. It's all selfies. Can I take a selfie? Can I have a selfie with you? Can I... But Robert Elms just flew straight in the face of this and said, I think I've only ever taken 2 photographs in my life. This is... okay, so Christina is a photographer and a brilliant photographer, so he's very lucky. She probably takes all the pictures, but he's never felt the need to take pictures. And he has kids. And he's often abroad, so he sees beautiful countries and beautiful houses. But he said, I don't... So I would love to know, how many of you don't take photographs? Because I've often spoken about this. I worked with a guy on BBC Brighton who was a twitcher, and his name was John Lees. He was very famous. He was the head of sport, actually, down there. And he was on a pager, so he wrote all his cues, all his scripts out in longhand. He never logged on. When he did, there was something like 15,000 emails waiting for him, but he didn't even know how to retrieve them. And he would get a page saying the greatest opera ever is now in Dorset, and he would get in his Morris Marina and drive to see it. And he'd come back, and I used to say, show us a picture, and he went, I don't have a picture, I don't take photographs. And I went, but how do I know you've seen it? And he went, I know I've seen it, that's all. He didn't have any record of it. Now that's the sort of man I really admired. He didn't have to say, look at this on his mobile phone. But to be quite honest, when people say look at this on their mobile phone, I just want to cringe because I need glasses now. I can't see anything, so I'm leaning over trying to get my stuff ready. I can't see most of what people are trying to show me on their phone. I would love to hear from people who don't take photographs. Now, this may be the most boring half hour because maybe no one's going to call in, but I would love to know, is there anyone that connected with Robert Elms who just doesn't take photographs? This is from Andrew. Joe, this is a great subject. I notice as I cycle about town, more and more people glued to their phones. I don't want to sound sexist, but I honestly think most of these people are the women in their 20s and 30s. Is it sexist? Well, not if it's correct, but I don't know. I wonder over the past year how many people in the UK have been killed by walking on the road. Yes, well, let's not go down that route. And I think we're all, this morning I stood stock still trying to send a text to a producer here in the middle of the pavement. I loathe people doing that because I just think, for heaven's sake, move to the side. You know, have you no sense of space and rhythm? But I would love to know, is there anyone listening to me who doesn't take photographs? You have or know someone, yeah. I mean, you have my full admiration. If you are a Robert Elms who just says, I think Robert said he'd taken 2 photographs in his life, who just doesn't see the need, it's in your head, you don't need proof, please give us a call. 0800 731 2000, 0800 731 2000. You can start calling now whilst I play Santana.